Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
Welcome back to, it's an in-person news brief.
What am I doing here to talk about news and stuff? I'm supposed to be doing this from the comfort of my home.
Well,
wearing my pajamas.
Times they are a-changing. Anyways, hey, yeah, I've got a great idea for a Wednesday. You want to talk about CM Punk?
I'm going to go back home.
No. Come on. You're going to quit? Is that what you're saying? Well, hey, it sounds like CM Punk threatened to do the same thing. So get this. PW Torch. This all has to do with, of course, Brawl In is what they're calling it now, and it's the CM Punk backstage shenanigans at All In, the epic 80,000 plus biggest paid attendance show of all time. Maybe PW Torch has additional details, some clarification, and new developments about an argument between Tony Khan and CM Punk before. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even read this before he had his altercation with Jack Perry.
Yeah.
So this is what PW Torch has to say, Larson. They have learned that Punk confronted Tony Khan in front of others and then in his locker room in what has been characterized as a heated, intense manner. And at one point, according to 3 sources who have heard about the situation, told Khan he quit and chewed out Khan with harsh phrasing. Hey, man, I'm out of here.
You can take this job and shove it.
That's right. So there have been some questions about how Punk and Perry were allowed to get so close to each other after. Moving on. The gorilla position at All In on Sunday was a big open space between the entrance tunnel and the hallway where many wrestlers were lingering all evening. There's been some questions about how Punk and Perry were allowed to get so close to each other after Perry's inflammatory comments during his match right before Punk's match. The gorilla position, near where the Punk-Perry confrontation and brief scuffle took place, was next to a photo shoot area and even a table with some snackies. Unfortunately,
hopefully the snacks didn't get disturbed.
Unfortunately, there were no edibles, so people could just calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, it continues here. PW Torch does. Perry would have been hanging out there after his match, doing the usual post-match routine of mingling with wrestlers and getting feedback on his match. Since Punk's match was next, they would have naturally been near each other when Punk headed towards the entrance tunnel, but there are conflicting reports regarding who made their way towards the other for the confrontation. Punk was worked up at that point, having just had it out with Khan. So apparently, he was already heated because he forgot to take his edible because he's straight edge.
Well, then he didn't forget.
He elected not to have an edible.
Just doesn't do it.
Probably jet lagged for that matter.
Didn't have a ride from the airport. More on that in a moment.
Right. So he's like, "Hey, Khan," but there's no indication here as to like why he was like, "Hey, I'm upset with you, Tony Khan."
No.
All right.
We're only left to speculate. Here's more from PW Torch. There are no indications that Khan has directly communicated with Punk since Punk lashed out at him in his locker room before his match at All In. Instead, it appears Punk was informed he was suspended through his lawyer. So more about the travel stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been reported that CM Punk didn't have a ride from the airport to the hotel when he arrived in London on Saturday. PW Torch notes, AEW wrestlers who previously have toured internationally with WB noticed some big differences in how AEW handled the travel. One big difference is wrestlers were not picked up at the airport. That's standard not only on WB international tours, but New Japan, who picks up non-Japan-based wrestlers at the airport when they arrive in Japan. Wrestlers had to fend for themselves getting rides with Uber. So if that is the case, and that is a universal policy within AEW, it wasn't as if CM Punk, someone just forgot about him.
Yeah. One of those wrestling accounts on Twitter that's kind of popular with the speculation and stuff, Trevor Dame, made a good point when he said, all the stuff that sort of precedes Brawl In, the all-out stuff, sort of amplifies anything and everything that happens to CM Punk. Mm-hmm. Like the travel gets cocked up or there's a miscommunication or there's not quite an understanding that, you're not going to have a service come pick you up.
Yeah.
Gets amplified into, is this a personal beef because the guy who's a travel coordinator is friends with the Young Bucks and so on and so forth. And that's a really good point. It could be a very normal, innocent misunderstanding, but then it gets blown up, seemingly with the Miro stuff as well, because Fightful Select had an update on the Miro Punk confrontation that Brian Alvarez said 5 people told him that this was an actual dust-up. According to Sean Ross Sapp.
Hey, happy birthday to Sean, too. It's Sean's birthday today.
Oh, it's his birthday?
Happy birthday, Sean.
That's awesome. Hopefully it's a good one.
Yes.
With Sean Ross Sapp saying that the conversation between Punk and Miro was very unserious and described Punk's challenge to a fight as a joke, with Miro joking in response. PW Insider added, there were words described as bantering, bants. If they're in the UK, it's called bants.
Bants.
Between the two, but no physical altercation. We're also told Punk, Miro, and Brody King all traveled to and arrived at the stadium together the day of All In the same vehicle. Now, evidently, much ado about nothing. But again, because there's already this stuff going on, I would imagine it's not difficult for these sources or whomever. It's not difficult to jump to a certain conclusion, even if maybe in this case it's unwarranted.
Yeah, if people are hearing stuff secondhand or third hand, maybe even fourth hand, as it goes down the line, it might lose some important context.
Right, exactly.
So if you only heard, Miro went in and checked to see what was going on with Phil, and Phil said, hey, you want to fight? Without the context of, hey, maybe it was a joke.
Right, yeah.
Because honestly, it makes no sense for Miro to go in to the trainer's room or Punk's locker room or whatever and be like, hey, what happened with Jungle Boy? And the first words out of Punk's mouth are, you want to go take this outside?
Let's throw hands.
Because, come on, Punk, it's Miro.
Yeah, I know.
Miro would crush you.
You would think so. I don't know what his actual fighting, in kayfabe, I don't know.
Never mind. I'm not going to get into it about Punk's actual fighting abilities.
Okay, look, man, he's a trick. Okay, we're not going to go.
Not going to get into it.
We're not going to go there.
Not going to get into it today. Got into it plenty yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
Is it entirely possible? This is speculation. That Punk was just mad and no one picked him up at the airport and that put him in a bad mood for the rest of his time in London.
Well, jet lag.
Yeah.
And that's possible, but to say I'm going to quit, I don't know. But I don't know. Travel's kind of a big deal. If you're out there and you're lost in London or whatever, Heathrow is like one of the biggest, most complex airports.
It's one of the busiest airports in the world. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. So look, that's possible, but like to be, oh man, I quit. I don't know. I'm legitimately curious to know what the confrontation was between him and Tony Khan.
I know. Because
it doesn't sound too friendly. Again, we have no idea. We're just relying on on what Punk's camp says, what other people say, and then we go from there. And the whole thing's interesting because it's just drama.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
It's a mess, man.
It's it's just a mess.
It'll be interesting to see what happens on Dynamite too. Do we have like a preview for Dynamite?
No. I was watching the video where Sean was talking about the Miro Punk thing and how it was much ado about nothing. And someone asked him during the show, why is there only one segment announced for Dynamite? Does that mean there's going to be a lot of changes to the All Out card? And as Sean put it, no. Initially, Tony Khan was giving wrestlers the opportunity to go to Wyndham Rotunda services.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think were supposed to originally be today. Due to Tropical Storm Hurricane approaching Florida, apparently the services have been postponed to next Wednesday.
Okay.
So they're probably trying to write that show right now.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. Also, could be looking forward to another tag team back in the WWE. Apparently, this tag team has been signed for a while, but they haven't been used yet. This is, again, coming from Fightful Select. Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Several sources have told Fightful that months after our initial report, the Authors of Pain have actually been under contract with WWE since 2022, though we haven't confirmed as much. Specifically, we were told it was before Vince McMahon came back because that put a halt on all signings besides new recruits. There have been some signings in recent months, however. So yeah, apparently Authors of Pain might actually be back with the company. It's just when Vince came back, it was like, no, we're not gonna use you.
2022. That's good. That's like more than
like 9 months ago.
9 months.
That's a long time ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But of course, Eric Young had re-signed and then never appeared on TV. And then Vince came back and he's like, I'm out of here.
I did see a tweet from Sean about that one, how like he was signed in November and they had plans for him starting in January.
Yeah.
But then like Bray stuff happened. Yeah. And then all that was put off hold. So Eric Young had plans in place and he was told about them. But then when Vince came back, he was like, goodbye. I didn't design this. I'm out of here.
Take this job and shove it.
Right, exactly. So anyways, what do you guys think about this ongoing, never-ending?
I'll tell you what I think about it. I'm tired of it. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted.
Look, man, we had plenty of time to prepare for this. We did a whole bonus episode about all the different plans or all the different things that could happen once Punk returned, and this was definitely one of them.
It was high on the list, yeah.
More shenanigans.
Doesn't mean it's what I wanted to have happen.
Oh, yeah. We just, look, man, all we want to do is watch some fun, good wrestling and critique it.
And enjoy some interesting stories, perchance.
I'll take the views, though. I'll tell you what, man. I'm not going to
yeah,
lie.
I guess
Not
so.
going to lie.
Guess so.
Like those views.
Yeah, views are fine, I guess.